uh, fixing quite a lot of the stuff I did before on my Smashbash entry, and hopefully finishing off a lot of the build today, and cutting some actual XPS foam rather than the weird upholstery foam I got last time. So I'll switch this round and we'll get going. Boop. I don't want to rotate device, come on. Don't rotate device. Device is fine. Okay, let's see if this is working. There you go. Please, yeah, if you're in the chat, just say hello. That'd be great to see if it's all going ahead. Doesn't appear to be working very well at the moment. Oh, you piece of shit. Okay. Hi guys, just having some slight technical things. Is it does it look is it landscape for you, or it's not turning around for me, which is super annoying. Oh well, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. It's portrait. Why is it stuck on portrait? Okay, well, you might have to watch it on portrait if that's all right. So I don't know if you saw last time, but this sealant, this is upholstery foam. I've ripped it all off because it is way too spongy, and doesn't cut properly. What I really wanted was insulation foam to get this lovely crumbly texture, so that when I carve into it, yeah, fuck technology, so difficult. I don't know why it's not working properly. I'll try and sort it out in a second. But basically, this stuff, it carves really nicely, and so you can get this lovely texture to it, and it ends up looking much more like it is made of rock than made of some weird foam. So I've taken most of it off, put it all around the sides, and then I'm going to carve into this, and then make the kind of all of the water sections in these parts. Hello, Demon Crusher. Hi, Nyan Prow. And googly woogly eyed Widget Skull. Always great to talk to you. So yeah, it is a nice knife. It is a very nice knife. This is from Blending Forge. It was a present from my missus. I've got a couple of other ones of them I use generally. It has a little bit of a low profile, so actually like rocking, it's a bit of a pain in the ass. But I use it to cut foam because it is the best thing to cut foam with. Probably a little bit excessive, but it's fine. So I have got a block of extruded foam. I don't know if I'm going to actually need to use the rest of this, because I've got, and I'm using gloves because this stuff is absolutely disgusting. And like wrecks your skin, and I'll probably use a mask as well when I'm cutting lots of it, because I don't want to breathe in all the dust. But what I want to do is carve out these sections, and then use those bits to fill in gaps here to make this fuller, and then build this up a little bit higher, because I need it to I need the whole profile to sit kind of up here. See that? Yeah. To sit up here, about there. So if I've got a few things up this side, and then a kind of cliff edge, water sections down here into these pools, and then I'm going to do resin pour around it, so you have this like resin all the way around. Then to kind of go a bit more with a brackish berth, I've got these lovely things that I burgled from somebody. I got a costume jewelry, and I'm going to use these as kind of like sort of spawn / eggs. Do love using like fake pearls. And if you were here last time, you probably saw that I was making these jars full of stuff. They worked really well. It took ages to seal this one. I spent quite a lot of time pouring water all over my desk, but I'm very happy with it. So this side is going to be like purely mechanical. and this side much more like natural. You can see I've sort of started doing the first tree there as well, because I want this to feel quite like swamp like. So I'm going to do another one of these, and potentially some maybe some kind of roots and things growing around here, and we'll see how that goes. And then this is all working really well. I love how like gross it is. I'm going to try and once I paint it, I'll leave a couple of gaps at the back and the front, scrape off some of the paint so you can only see like narrow sections or like splodges, and then put little like single lights on the back of these so that I can just kind of like illuminate it a little bit. But yeah, today it's going to be a lot of carving, hopefully get her on, and then start using some of the characters that we've got as well, which I've been trying to fix and get their spiky things looking a little bit less bent into pieces. And then we have got lots and lots and lots of sprue to mess around with as well. Cool. So I'll be doing this until about like 2, 3, maybe 3 o'clock. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how I get on. Monk says, I'm standing next to a big pile of tile adhesive, but I'm up in Nottingham. Shall I bring it back? Maybe. Like, don't worry at all. I've got this lovely PVA bond. So once I've cut all of this, what I'll be doing is watering this down, spraying it pretty much on every surface, like trying to avoid these because I don't want to ruin the lovely textures, and that'll seal it so that I can glue stuff on top of it. The big problem with this stuff is that super glue melts it. So if you want to like make anything really detailed or add kind of tiny bits to it, it doesn't work. Right, I'm just going to double check, see if I can make this not portrait. Save highlight, mute microphone. Oh, so annoying. Top chat, live chat, super chat. There's all the chat stuff. Filters. Turning it back the other way around. Just as rotate device. If anyone knows in how to make YouTube lives go back onto to landscape rather than portrait, please let me know. That'd be very helpful. Stephen Corbett. Thanks, man. I'm very happy to find. I found this like huge piece of insulation foam, and then suddenly realised that it was probably quite stupid of me to. I don't know what happened with I don't know what happened with this foam. Like, I'd ordered it before, and it was extruded XPS. I ordered it this time, and then it doesn't seem to work. So, right. Okay. The only thing about carving this stuff is that you end up with lovely pieces of it at the same time. Maybe I'm going to crack that up. Let's see how it goes. Is it nice? Does it sound nice? I'm quite enjoying the sound of it. So I don't want to go too deep with this, but then some of the lower bits, it's going to be a bit odd. Like, I'm not sure exactly which water direction I'm going to go in until actually all the stuff goes into it. So we'll see. And I also want to make sure that I have enough space for these stilt characters to be fishing, so that there we go. So they're going to be actually sort of like hunting fish in the depths, and then do like a resin pour, so you've got all this like nice watery stuff coming out of it. That is the plan anyway. Has anyone here used resin before? Yeah. I am completely eyeballing it this time. Peter, this is my Smashbash entry. It's got to be done in 2 weeks. I'm really far behind you. Last couple of times I did this, I actually did start building at the start of the month, the start of the competition, so I had 3 months to build it. This time I'm feeling the pressure somewhat, as I still need to finish painting Gilliman as well, so I'm kind of doing a lot of things at different times. It's quite fun. This is not getting bored about it at all. So I don't really want particularly clear cut. I want to sort of mash it, so you end up with an organic shape to it. Oh, wonderful! The bubbles are popped and the leaks fixed. So you've got your resin pour went well. I think a lot of people, obviously, a lot of people will be doing resin for this because it's really watery effects. It's not something that I've done before, but I'm enjoying the challenge of making a kind of watery scene, and I'm going to enjoy the challenge of not chucking this all over of not getting it all over the floor and completely ruining my carpet when I do that actual pour. Okay, these sections go all the time. Any tips for it, for pouring resin? I also want to make sure that I'm leaving enough of the shape that I want to keep and like handle pieces so that I can still lift this up. So I'm going to leave like quite a big gap here. How is everyone today? Is there anyone working on anything? I'm also enjoying the prospect of carrying this downstairs because our lift is broken and because it's spray painting it outside because obviously I can't do it in here, but yeah, it's gonna be loads of fun getting it outside, getting it spray painted. That is always my absolute favourite part of the process, to be honest. It's just like the moment when it all sort of starts looking like I feel like it should look. And a few questions last time about what you do with all the strings for the glue gun glue, and I think when I'm finished, when I finish the build, I'm gonna sort of brush a lot of it off. Possibly, well, maybe before I use the what's it called PVA glue stage. Okay, so you use blue tack to seal dams and reinforce it with double-sided tape. Don't pour too fast. Taking time with pipette will lose fewer bubbles. Okay, cool. That's really good. Well, I love using a pipette, so and I have got like an absolute shit ton of glue this time, so I'm not going to run out of glue. Let's carve some more. I need to make sure that these kind of gap sections don't end up with like just a big massive hole in them. I think that's probably going to end up quite a big hole in it. I've been re-listening to The End and the Death today, and getting overexcited about sort of tinfoil hat ideas about whether or not Malkador and the Emperor, like how synonymous they are with each other, and like whether or not one becomes the other, other person, which is kind of interesting. I really love the Heresy books, and I'm very excited about Warhammer Fest and whether or not they'll have, or well, it'd be lovely if they release the next part. Now, when I thought about this originally, I thought I'd do like quite a hugely thick, what's the word? Like cavernous kind of river around the whole thing, and then I realised that would cost an absolute fortune in resin, and not be particularly visually appealing because, well, maybe just it doesn't need to be a canal. I want it to be more of like a natural shape and like where water is cascading down from like ancient machinery. So we'll see how that goes. The other thing is making sure that it does actually fit. I haven't appreciated this might be an absolutely horrible sound. Some of this. So if it's too awful, I can switch over to something else. You're on audiobook 32 of the Horus Heresy. God, which one's that? One of the things that I really I've been going back and I've been rereading some of the like anthologies, because what I realised is that they often put really interesting and like earth-shattering lore descriptions in the anthology sections, and then nobody reads them because there's so many books to read that you kind of want to just stick to the main storyline, but then you get all these lovely like hints and like wider ideas in the whole thing. Deathfire. Okay, cool. Is that sounds salamandery? I want to say. I think like to begin with, I read sort of like, well, basically like PDFs of them, and they all kind of blurred into one a little bit. So I find it very hard to remember like which book which things happened in. I think like Unremembered Empire is probably, you know, obviously very vividly remember those ones because it was something I wasn't expected and like very like new lore. Yeah, I do recommend it. Like even for the Siege series, like there was all this stuff with there's just like in the new Siege series, there's one short story book, and actually that is the one that you absolutely can't miss reading, which I feel very cheeky of them. They're not very clear on like whether or not it's going to be like how much you're going to need to know the lore or not. So, Chiabris? No, not sure. Oh yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean though. Yeah, if Infinite and the Divine, I can recommend wholeheartedly. That is not just one of the best. It's not just one of the best kind of Black Library books I've read. I'd say it's one of the best books. Full stop. It is so funny. It's brilliantly written. Like quite touching in places. You'll laugh, you'll cry. It's definitely the best Exodite book. It's the best Necron book. It's yeah, I don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, if you want to get into them, I think that's a really good starting place because it kind of doesn't proves how good the writing can be, and how entertaining that like any part of the story can be, but also I love the lore about Trazyn. I feel like it's, you know, one of the many characters that's a kind of stand-in for the fandom in general, and like collectors in specific. some of these are really too thick. I think these are too, they're just like too out of scale, but I'm really enjoying using these plumbing parts. Please tell me you leave the blue visible in the build. No, it's gonna go. It's to disappear. It was a real yeah, it was a bit of I don't know. I wanted to press on with the live stream, so just kind of went for it, even though it was definitely the wrong stuff. And then I thought about it for a week, and I was stressing out about it because I was like, I knew it was wrong, but I really didn't want to redo the work. And then as soon as I ripped it all off and started again, I was just like, okay, feel good about that. Feel good about it. No, I think this will be better off. I've very kindly been sent some like circuit boards that I'm going to use on this side as well, just to make it, to update it a little bit. I didn't want just to have wire panels. I really like using circuit boards as well, because it just creates like a lovely feeling to it. I found this old thing that God knows how old it is, so I'll use this one as well because I think that'll be quite nice. But ooh, nice. But I think I'll probably leave that until I've got the other. Or maybe not. So look. Looks like a beginning actually. Yeah, I look like a beginning. Let me bend it a little bit. And the great thing about this stage is I could just be really rough. I don't care about how much like glue I'm getting on everything. Once I start layering different things on top of each other, I'll hide quite a lot of the goop, but some of it I'm gonna incorporate into the design anyway. Hi Zon, how you doing? Thanks for making it to the stream. I'm aware as well that a lot of the time I speak to people mostly on Instagram, and I know people quite well, and then they'll have completely different names on completely different names on YouTube or TikTok or Twitter, and it's super difficult to keep up. So yeah, if you do fancy dropping your the handle that we most communicate with, that'd be really cool and very useful for me. So. She is going to need some sort of platform almost. Okay. Back to cutting. Oh, no hammer. Ah, cool. Yeah, see, it's super easy to like not quite twig who everyone is. There you go. I'm going to try and I'm going to try and paint this in a sort of like cliff-like texture. Well, we'll see how that goes. So it looks like crumbling, sort of crumbling cliff face. Okay, let's get more glue. Oh, drunken Primarchs. Yeah, how you doing? Thanks, mate. So yeah, if you've just joined us, I'm going to do a lot of carving today. We're going to try and do some of the characters. We're going to try and get the main figure on the top of the model and start building it in all of the cable, like attaching her to the rest of the technology. So cabling that goes into these, into here, and then if we get time, do some of this, the second tree that will be kind of its roots curling around all of these pipes, and then maybe being behind her. I'm not really sure. Maybe this side. Yeah. I want to definitely keep the shape, so you've got all this technological stuff one side, and then much more kind of natural over here, but everything is overgrowing as well. And then most of the actual models are probably going to be around these, like the water sections on the outside, and like doing little tasks and investigations around it as well. It's a lovely sound, isn't it? It's a lovely, lovely sound. We're going to fill these with bits of wire, bits of tech, all sorts of tiny pieces of things. Create this kind of feel I want from it. And then when it opens up, you'll have this cascade of water coming out of the middle of it, which I'm really excited about doing. I've got a plan for how to make those. I'm going to use resin poured in sandwich bags, then like flattened and shaped, and then the sandwich bags, when it comes out of it, you have this like wave texture with all these different fronds and stuff that you can manipulate a little bit. I've seen it done. I've never done it myself. We'll see if I can possibly do it. I have no idea. Anyone doing any hobby while we talk? Oh, awesome. Okay, so I'm in an august company. It's not. I haven't just kind of found one person who does it and then thinking, oh, that's going to definitely work. And it doesn't work. So, okay, that's really cool. That's definitely something that I always worry about sometimes with like planning these things when I've seen like a video about it. I try not to watch like too many because I want to keep like the ideas reasonably fresh and not just make exactly the same thing that someone else has made. Also going to carve out so that there's more of a gap between the two sections, so the lid's got a lot more clearance, so it definitely opens. At the moment, opens pretty well. The back is a little bit squashed, but we'll sort that out today. Oh, amazing! Okay, so you've done 100 days of hobby. Mortarian as well. Yeah, that's cool. It's such a cool model. I'd love to at some point. I do have some chaosy things planned. I'd definitely like to use that model because it is spectacular. And he's also kind of done some more interesting things in the Heresy. Well, it's so difficult because I keep trying to spoil things. Yeah, I think Mortarion is an interesting character. I like sort of the he's good. He's a good example of like being very personally flawed and that kind of informing everything that he does. And not necessarily him actually falling to chaos, but being tricked by old Typhus. Whoa. Oh, you've got some metal Necrons. Are they the super old Terminator ones? Another dream project is, I don't know if you've seen it, but making Necrons from the original sketches that old John Blanche did, and they're really kind of that sort of space, weird, bony, like they look so much more alien than they've ended up. Yeah, I think I was sort of thinking about like a mix of like the old models, maybe the Ossiarch Bone Reapers, Ossiarch Bone Reapers, is that what they're called? Because I kind of thought that those ended up being more Necron than Necron, which was interesting. Okay, just gluing my glove to it. Oh, the 3rd edition ones. Okay, cool. Yeah, those are very nice. I was gonna say, like, if you look up like the come on, are they destroyers? Ones with the big guns. The 1st edition of them, they're super expensive. Well, quite rightly, they're beautiful models. Kind of like collector's editions almost. Metal Deceiver. Oh, that'd be nice. Oh. Yeah, I'm a big Necron fan. I like how weird the lore is. I like how sort of the kind of grumpy old manness of it. You know, they would be almost all powerful if the ones that waking up weren't trying to settle their like old scores rather than doing anything else, or they've gone completely senile and don't really know what's going on at all. I like working with metal models as well. There's something something really nice about it. Feels nostalgic. I mean, admittedly, I don't like kitbashing them that too much. Like sawing sections off them and stuff. Okay, I think ready to carve a bit more. Yeah, I think after this, once I finish this one, my next model is definitely going to be Angron. If I can get hold of it, because it has been out of stock a lot. Oh, hi, Legionnaire Joe, all the way from New Zealand. Very nice. I wonder what time it is there. And Science Pie as well. He's calling in from work. I'm going to assume that you've seen Picard and like absolutely loved it. I very very much enjoyed it. Probably don't want to spoil anything for people who haven't seen it yet, but series 3 of Picard is not shit, unlike the other 2 series of Picard. Too much gone. Yeah, it's got too much gone. I need to glue that back on. Yeah, we do need to chat this weekend. That'd be very cool. It is. When am I going to be free? It is Greek Easter, so it's Greek Orthodox Easter. So probably Saturday night. I think Sunday I'll be busy all day. Yeah, do you watch it? Do you really watch it? Because it, like, yeah, I mean, I didn't actually finish season 2 because I couldn't, I just couldn't stand it anymore. But it's the season that we all wanted at the beginning. Really, it's just like, it's been. I think the quality's been like really consistent. I'm not an enormous Trekkie, unlike Science Pie, but it is. I think it's been really good so far. And a bit of one of those moments where you're like, why didn't you just do this fucking to begin with? I think I'm going to try and do a couple more cuts and then leave that, because I'm sure this noise is actually like, I didn't think about how incredibly irritating it would be to listen to through a screen. Transit times. This is going to look really nice. It's got such a nice, it just has such a nice texture to it, and like once you've got the paint on it as well, it looks amazing. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Picard is nearly over. There's not much long left, so. Oh, the Dark Elder Master of Blades is a very, very cool model. It's very cool. I think everyone wants Angron. Like, he's finally kind of redeemed himself, and actually everyone thinks he's really cool again. Well, I mean, maybe really cool is not quite right. This is a lovely, lovely model. They've done such a great job on it. Yeah, it'd be cool if O'Brien came back as well. Yeah, it's a good way of doing it. Like, I have really enjoyed sort of seasons being, what's the word? Like coming out weekly again. It just stops me from watching all of it in one go. But then there was also that element of frustration. I've really been enjoying. Like, I think probably my favourite series this year has been, last year and this year. Really enjoying the Yellow Jackets. Yeah, anything which has got cannibalism in it. And cannibalism and wilderness, being stuck in the woods, bit of folk horror. It's great. Is that going to work? I'm not sure it's going to work. Because this is off and the glue is cold. Yeah, I think it has been. It is nice, kind of watching it old-fashioned way and having like one little episode at a time and just talking about it during the week and then watching another thing next week. Actually, I think the best example of that was I don't know if anyone saw it, but Peacemaker, which Science Pie put me on, and I was so glad that he did, because it's probably some of my favourite television of all time. And if you haven't watched it and you're sure it's like to watch tonight, go and watch that, because it is absolutely brilliant start to finish. Okay, right. Maybe we make this nest sort of a bit sort of jagged, so she's almost in a kind of nest shape. Got to remind me how she sits. Okay, so we want to make sure that her legs have got. Well, maybe just leave her on here for a minute. Make sure her legs have got shape. Okay. Yeah, the first season was such a tease. Of Yellow Jackets. Second series gets into it pretty quickly. I really like. Yeah, I can 100% recommend that. Performances are uniformly great. It is pretty horrifying in places. Yeah, there is something sort of childhood nostalgia about it. I think it was the I don't know. I think like post the boys, like everyone's going like for any kind of like event television, everyone's going to try and do it because the problem with I think the problem with I think the first couple of seasons or maybe just the first season of the boys, like everyone got so hyped about it and then just binge watched all of it and then nobody talked about it at all after that point and you lose that kind of sense of event television. Okay, a little bit more foam. Where's my knife? I was thinking about Warhammer Fest, but actually the first kind of hobby event before that is Salute at the Excel Centre on the 22nd. I don't know, is anyone going to that? Like last year, I kind of went and exhibited with Lead and Lens, and this year I'm just going as a punter and going to go and see it. But it looks like they've got some cool looking stuff. It's a really good. It's like a wargaming convention for third party games, and usually has like a really amazing selection of exhibitors. So it's going to be exciting seeing all the stuff. It's being binged, lol. Yeah. Smart man. Okay, so let's fit behind here. Let's take that off. So somebody asked about whether or not I sort of sketched this out. I did. I usually do quite a few sketches to try and work out what I'm going to do. This is a bit more free form, but I have a lot of idea of the shapes and the structure. One of the major things that I knew was where the main character was going to sit, where the ring was going to go, and then I'm sort of filling in everything around that. So it's this thing is probably a lot more organic than my normal builds, which I'm enjoying. It's a little bit stressful because I can't really plan my time for the build particularly. I have not doing this very well. And a few people have been chatting to me about the balanced data slate. I'm finding it really hard to think about the current edition in any form because 10th is on its way and I'm pretty excited about 10th. So I find it difficult to conjure up any enthusiasm for trying to work out like anything good about any of the new rules or like, you know. I don't think much has changed, or I mean, I'm not even sure anything's changed for Elder at all. Maybe some secondaries. The Boys is really good. It's very, very, very graphic. There's a lot of moments where you think, where it's really hard to, it's hard to say anything without spoiling anything. But I think it contains the most moments of genuine, like, just incredulity that they did what they've done. better. Stick that bit underneath there. A bit more solid. Nice. Put that in there for a second. Right, just gonna be back in 2 secs. And cool, I'm back again. If anyone has any idea how I can set it to being landscape instead of portrait during the stream, please let me know. I think I put something on the original settings, and that has wrecked it up, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, 10th is just looking. It is just looking so much. It's looking loads of fun. I think every time, like most of the sort of the previews, I've just thought straight away, yes, that's exactly how I want to play it. My single favorite one so far has been. Single favorite thing so far has definitely been having deep strike units coming in on your opponent's turn. I just think that's going to create some really like thematic and like narrative games. You know, you position your warlord slightly in the wrong place, and then your opponent like moves all his units to attack him or something, and then you teleport down this like huge shield. Or yeah, I just think like having to really consciously make the decision about whether or not you're going to commit them is going to make some interesting games. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Where is she? She's finally. Okay. Kind of like that. She's sort of in a nest. What might do? Let's attach her to a larger piece. Let's carve some more. Yeah, the only thing that gives me a slight cause for concern at the moment is the like extreme strength of the Space Marine trait, but I kind of feel like that might work itself out as well. Like, it's so difficult to know before you've got the full picture of all the rules. It might not actually be, or it just full re-rolls and re-roll wounds against one unit per turn feels very strong. And I said it felt strong, and a few people on I think the Tabletop Tactics kind of like Greach basically said, oh well, you know, it just means that everyone will use MSU, and I don't know if that's true, to be honest. Like, okay. I do the classic thing, putting her in place, gluing stuff to her, and making it so it's an absolute pain in the ass to paint her. Oh well, be fun. start doing some of the wires. There is way too much re-rolling, and one of the things that they said was that there were going to be fewer re-rolls, so it was suddenly it suddenly like felt very rubbish indeed. The concept that there were going to be, there you go, perfect. That Space Marines are going to have loads of re-rolls, but I think it said in the article that essentially they're going to be one of the only factions that has it. So if you're a Space Marine player, I think you are about to luck out. Oh, brilliant! So you're a Horus Heresy player. Those were the rules in the Heresy that I really don't want to have to learn a new game system, and I'm not big into Marines, so for me, Heresy is a bit of a. I'm not that keen. But the idea of the reactions, so that you're doing things in your opponent's phase. I absolutely love that. It's great. Shit, this is not going to work. It's under too much pressure. Yeah, you're right. Like, although actually, do you know what? This is a really interesting one. When I first got into the hobby, I was reading I was like reading online, and I was reading what everyone was saying, and so I thought, got to make everything WYSIWYG. So, like, I magnetized all my weapons options and all this stuff, and then I started to play. And I quickly realised that I definitely wasn't ever going to play in any tournaments. Like, it's too long. It's not something that really interests me that much. Like, I like playing for the fun of it and like having cool moments and stuff. And then I realised that none of my friends really cared about, what weird pointy gun was what on any elder units. The difference between a star cannon and a shuriken cannon was not something that they were particularly interested in learning. So I don't know. I've got less and less WYSIWYG as I've gone on, to the point now where I'm just kind of making stuff that looks like whatever. I would like to make some custody stuff. That is definitely it's on my list. Oh, you bastard! Come on. I'm just going to have to hold this here for a minute while it dries. Is there any Marine players who care about WYSIWYG? Maybe it is. But I'm very excited about the prospect of reactions, of doing stuff in your opponent's turn. I think it's going to make it. I think make the games like a lot more enjoyable. We do, saying that we do. My friends and I play like quite often like 4-player games, and really often the wait time is just so unbelievably tedious between you doing anything at all. So being able to speed that up and have stuff that you can do is going to be, I think, fantastic. I mean, maybe playing. I actually think I might just leave that there for a bit. It's quite fun. Yeah, exactly. If you kitbash things enough, they can be whatever. But it's it's like if my friend tells me that one of his AdMech models has got a galvanic arquebus, I'm going to believe him. I'm not going to be like it's going to be difficult enough to keep track of like what what everything is. Yeah, exactly. As long as you both know what it is, like. I think the only thing I did find was that I have to, especially when I've got my Harlequin army, which is quite heavily kit bashed. Yeah, I have to really make sure that my opponent knows which is the like nastiest stuff, so they don't think that they're charging something nice and easy, and then it turns out it's like turn 5 and it's got the Troop Master in it, and that suddenly all of his stuff is dead. Yeah, it's like not playing feel bad moments. Kios says, I run heavily. People be distracted by all the lights in my models to call attention to things like what bright flashing lights is a great way to go. By the way, I've got to say, having made large dioramas mostly with mostly with super glue. Now that I use glue gun glue for it's such it's such an extreme. I've got such an extreme level of joy for it, to be honest. Okay, so this is going to go. Let's see if I can do that without breaking. Yeah, I think so. Obviously, it doesn't have the nicest of finishes, but when you want everything to look gloopy anyway. Perfection. And I could... No, leave that for a moment. Just starting on a Nurgle night to have resin blisters with light in the abs. I assume that's abscess. That is an absolutely brilliant idea. Saying that, I'm going to need some lights for this. And what would you recommend? I just want to have like a couple of things to illuminate these glass jars from behind. So they're just like at the back and just, so I don't know. So it's just like a bit lit up. Any suggestions would be much appreciated. See what this looks like. Yeah, I think that's good. So she's going to be the main character. Just going to have more wires coming out the back of her, connecting to various bits of the stuff. Yeah. I think that's a very nice. I think that's going to be a very nice effect. I haven't really used many electronics. One of the things that I did do was I used a toy kit of like a little robot walker to make a knight that sort of scuttled very slowly. But something's happened to the electrics in it, and when I turn it on, it just screams. It just screams and doesn't move. So obviously it feels appropriate, right? For like a mad creation. I do like it though. I think it's I would like to make a lot of more things that actually move around. Little stick-on battery powered LEDs for the under kitchen lighting. Yeah, that's the right. That is exactly what I want. Amazing, mate. Thank you. Exactly, 100% the right person to ask as well. Stable is she? Do we want this into the tank? Yeah, I like that. gold-plated Custodes Land Raider, as in actually gold-plated. That sounds amazing. Let's quickly. Oh, gold leaf, very nice. Did anyone see? There was a guy who, I think it was a Custodes, but he cast it in gold, which is extremely extra, but great. Why not have a Custodes that's actually made of gold? It's amazing. Tackiest model I've ever seen. That's because you haven't seen my missus's Nurgling, Nurglings that are painted with leopard print. So. I want her to look like she's part of some ancient mechanism that's maybe achieved sentience or taken sentience. And then when I paint her, I'm going to try and have a sort of Madonna effect on her face, so it looks very beatific, and like particularly in focus, and then everything else grimy and grim and disgusting. As befits the setting. It's too long. It's not too long. So especially with the wiring, so like I'm going to build it in and through every section. It will of course be an absolute pig to paint, but it'll look very nice. It's leopard print. They're leopard print all over. So, she hasn't painted a huge number of models, but the ones she has have been incredibly creative, which is an absolute blast. I should know if I stick this on. If I stick this on too higher. It needs to be somewhere up here. I don't know if the tension of this is going to be too much for the glue. Especially as I should have just glued one side of it on, waited until it dry it, and then done the other. Yeah, no, it's not going to work. Stupid. So it goes like that. Right, let's glue this side first, and then do the next one. Is anyone on the chat today going to Warhammer Fest? I'm very excited about it. There's going to be some awesome people there. I'm excited to get my hands on the 10th edition like taster games, which I feel like it's just going to be like you versus like a display guy, like a guy. Well, maybe. I don't know. I've never done it like a trial game. Maybe they give you a rules pack. That'd be very cool. I think that would actually be that would be an absolute dream if they gave you like a little choice. Do you want to be Tyranids or do you want to be Space Marines? Let's see how it goes. As much as I'd love to. Well, it depends if I'm playing. If you get to play with your mate, then we'll definitely do Space Marines versus Tyranids, and I'll do Tyranids. Looking forward to psychic powers being in line. It'll be interesting to see what that actually means. I think they sort of said that you'll have like a weapons profile. So rather than smite, you'll have like smite as having a gun profile be in your data sheet for whichever unit you've got, which could be interesting because people like Magnus and Eldrad might have like more specific powers that are just for them. Oh, what have I done here? Why is it not working? Yeah, fair enough, mate. It's a little bit of a trick for you. Not enjoying wanting to glue it on. So it's too heavy. I've filled all the gaps. Two of 5 Golden Demon entries done. Wow, that's amazing. Well done, mate. Should be enough glue to hold something forever. Just must stay there. Just put in a little USB cable. And Inquisitor cosplay, amazing. Well, I'll keep an eye out for that then. That'd be very exciting. Yeah, as soon as the line, as soon as all the like previews and stuff of the line came out, I was like, oh god, it would be awesome if I had. It'd be awesome if I had some armor that I could just rustle up. I might have reached the capacity of sealant glue to hold something with this, but we'll see. We'll see what's this thing. So, what's your Inquisitor cosplay like? Are you have you got a particular ordo for it? Oh my god, 11 years since they last organised the Golden Demon. Oh fucking hell! Sorry to hear that, mate. I mean, yeah, we thought it was bad enough, kind of only having. Well, there was like a gap of like 2-3 years, and then they had one at Warhammer World where it was literally impossible to get tickets. I tried, but to absolutely no avail. Come on, finish gluing. I've been spoiled by how quickly everything's dried up until this point, and the fact that everything has worked perfectly. Come on, set. My friends and I are doing a Dark Heresy RPG campaign, which I'm really enjoying. We're very early stages. My character is called Quint Morgan, and is is a cleric from an ecclesiastical world. It's fairly pig ignorant apart from ecclesiastical law, and thinks every single person is a heretic. I spent almost all of my XP on and pre-game stuff, making sure that he had the best possible hammer to hit people with, and that's gone really well. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to do more, learn more stuff about the Inquisitor, and see how it goes. I haven't really done any I've never done a kind of D&D style RPG before. I'm really enjoying it. I'm finding it a little bit hard not knowing all the rules. And trying to improvise more than like knowing actually what to do at any time. Right, I think that's fine. Let's seal it in, and then hopefully when I come to bend it round, it won't be a massive pain in the ass. Okay, how's this looking? Yeah, I think that is how I want it to look. It's the queen of her domain. Let's take all this stuff off. Ah. Okay, it's glue inside that's a problem. One of the great things about using glue gun glue as well, if it doesn't fully seal, it doesn't quite work, or you don't like it, you can heat it up again. So I've been using. It took me ages to get this glass jar sealed. It took me ages to get the glass jar sealed. But what I did was, once I glued the lid on, used a soldering iron to melt the glue and like shape it and make sure that it was completely smooth all the way around, and then became watertight. So these hopefully will never ever leak. It would be a bit of a pain in the ass if they did. So the last one in Europe altogether was 2018. Wow. It feels weird. It feels weird. Like there's such a big hobbying scene in Europe, but then I suppose it tends to. It's hard. It's really. I always find it really hard to judge whether or not something there is actually like a normal scene, or it's just like there are some. There's some amazing Spanish painters. I know a lot of Germans. I know some Finnish people. Lots of Swedes. But I suppose the absolute bulk of people I know either from the UK or from the States, or maybe Australia and New Zealand as well. I suppose it really depends if you've got access to buying the models, like how expensive they're going to be. Ordo Xenos are fantastic. Medieval feel. Get some armor done for the next time. Yeah, that sounds really cool. Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to see what you do with it. And yeah, if I'd like to make some. I love making things, so any excuse to make something. Right, it's driving me crazy. Why is it not drying? If I can get something for it to rest on. It's gonna be this box. I think I can leave this here and hopefully it will all seal on together. I'll put enough glue on it. Right, let's go. I might do some miniature modelling now while I wait for that stuff to settle. Oh, so you've played some Dark Heresy. What, any advice, any suggestions of what I should do? We go over here now. Just going to slightly readjust the setup so I can build some miniatures over here. Some notes. Oh, amazing. What have you got? No, I'm not going to stop streaming. This is a rotate device. I don't want to rotate the device. Is it upside down or something? Let's have a look. Ah, it's fine. I don't know why it keeps telling me to rotate the device. Ian Fortune says, it's looking good. Got an interview later and this is my prep to calm your nerves. That is fantastic. I hope that I can bring you some soothing peace and wish you every bit of luck with your interview. Where's your interview for? Cool. Okay, let's get the clippers and some super glue. And the laptop. I cannot wait for the day that I have an actual hobby set up. And it's not just this tiny little desk. I don't have to keep moving everything around. I've got a whole little miniature workshop planned in, and yeah, I'm very excited about it. I think it's going to be amazing. So, okay. Well, double the salary is absolutely the way to go. So very, very, very good luck with that, mate. I really, really hope it pays out for you, because more money for hobby toys. Okay. So I love the like weirdness of these. I don't know what exactly I'm going to do with them. Hopefully have them probably on quite outstretched parts that actually make quite a good processional. If they're carrying out some sort of ritual. Okay, these are kind of good as is. I might I need to do something about their weird sticks. They don't really work for me. Okay, but those three are fine. These guys, what I want to do is I want to build up huge backpack parts on here. Tread softly and carry a big gun. Yeah, that's a sensible idea. So one of the kits that I wanted to use are these are the, what are they called? Oh, swamp people. Ash waste nomads. And they've got like these great like backpack sections with loads of different detail on them and different things. You probably heard me bang on endlessly about how much I like Necromunda kits for kit bashing. And I haven't used these before, but I'm very excited about it. We no longer need to wait to make for GW to make stuff. Yeah, I mean, I think the interesting, like, I would say that there's floating around is a knockoff of Angron, and it's the closest I've seen like so far to like like one of the original sculpts, and it is pretty impressive. I think for like complex multi-part kits, I'm still gonna, you know, I'd always just say that, you know, GW kits are the absolute best. They're so finely detailed, and you get such amazing sprues. But yeah, I can see the day is coming. That I can see the day is coming when it's going to be increasingly hard for them to justify. Well, it's annoying, isn't it? I mean, like they manage a whole company based on it, and it's like they make amazing toys that I absolutely love. Everyone wants. It's so difficult when you want things to be cheaper, but also you want people to be well paid. Yeah, also. Okay. Also, I hate gluing shit to resin. There's nothing that fucking sticks to it. Yeah, these are really lovely kits. I might do a short video. I might do a short video on kit bashing with the Delac kit, because I've got to the point now where I'm collecting, I'm collecting videos, or I'm collecting individual pictures of people who have kit bashed with it, because there are so many, and so many of them are so unbelievably excellent. Where is my blue tech? Yeah, 4 versions of the Emperor. Wow. Okay. Are they all kind of the what's it called? There's a particular sort of like artwork style of him, like the kind of giant golden god version, which I like. I do like. I definitely want to make the Emperor at some point, so I'm gonna need to get hold of him. You're right, and you know, GW don't do a kit of it, and then it's quite difficult, because if you want to do something that's, I think maybe that is kind of like a source of a lot of people's frustration, is that if you want to own a kit of something that exists in the lore and it doesn't exist, or never will, or has gone out of date, it could be quite frustrating to do that. I mean, I love their kits for just the volume of bits. I love the lore and like the entire world, and it is always giving me ideas to make things. But the more I build, the more bits I need, and the greater the variety of kits that I'm going to use. Yeah, that is always a nightmare, is inflating the value of things. Working for the shareholders. So these are models from Beastarium games that I'm mixing with Ash Wastes, Nomads, and I'm going to add in some orc bits as well. Little tray. Use the top of this. The giant golden god one is, and I'm working for. Oh, that sounds really cool. Just super grimdark version. Yeah, that'd be amazing. We've all got too much plastic. Is there such a thing as too much plastic? I don't know. I don't think so. Okay, let's give it a backpack. I don't think it's possible to have too much plastic. You always find something, another project that you need things for. Why are these going to look too modern? What else have I got in my bits boxes to hand? I've got some Necron bits, some Drakari bits. And maybe Drakari bits would work quite well with these. Okay, where's the third guy? 1, 2. These are going to have sort of scuttling in the depth. They're kind of like cultists. Here we go. Wish I'd got a few more of these. They're amazing. Sculpts are so interesting. A bone coloured. Yeah, that will look stupid. That will look less stupid. So I'm going to do it. That way is a taller one. Let's see. Only difficulty of using kits you haven't used before is just unfamiliarity with all the bits. Whereas I sometimes do it with the instructions along so I can see what goes with where, but I'm quite enjoying with these just like taking a little bit here and there. Too much is just start the next box. Yeah, it's very true. Someone once said to me that they were like, you do realise that like the pile of shame does include things you've clipped out, so that you've only got the sprues left. And I was like, oh god, yeah. If you include all that, maybe it has got a bit out of hand. I don't think so though. I'm always looking for ways to use them and doing swaps with people. It keeps the bits trough fed. No, it doesn't work. This guy's already got quite a lot over his back. I need to sort of build him a backpack that then I can add on afterwards, not the other way around. So this goes on there. You are very right. It is better. I do wonder if it's the same impulse though. There's definitely quite a big there's definitely quite a big correlation of people I know who are like ex kind of rec heads that are now bang into Warhammer. So, but it's a much healthier hobby to be in. Do you know what? It's because I've got the window open. It's freezing in here, so the super glue is taking forever to stick. I always forget that the cold affects it really strongly. Sorting boxes is really interesting. I don't tend to sort bits very much apart from into project boxes. So when I know that I'm going to use something, I pop it into a project box and then start kind of collecting parts into it, which I haven't done with this one, which is why I'm just kind of searching through bits boxes to go. Yeah, it's definitely the same impulse, isn't it? Okay, this is going to look nice. Section. Oh, fit underneath. Yeah. One of the traps I definitely fell into when I first started making things was I was really I was quite stingy with like bits that I thought were like special parts that I was saving for a rainy day. And what I do now is I just don't. I try and switch off and don't think about it at all, and just build what what I think looks nicest for every project, and then that keeps me doesn't keep me honest, but it just keeps me focused on making things as well as I can possibly make them, rather than like endlessly trying to save parts. The bits I actually use the least are anything that I've got organized. So all of the stuff in here, and then I've got several kind of I don't even know where they are. I've got several kind of like little tray boxes for that have got hundreds of parts in them, but I end up not using them because I just forget everything that's in here. I'm like, oh, what's that? Oh, great, some like oh, loads of second edition Eldar. So, I don't what I'm going to use that for. Some 3D sculpts and bits of a White Scars biker. Like at some point, I had a really clear idea and project for these. Loads of spare Eldar bits as well, which is a wonderful luxury to have. Actually, having spare Eldar bits that aren't what's it called aren't heavy weapons kits. It's an amazing world that we now live in, where there have actually been some Eldar releases. The kits have got better. There's some cool stuff coming out. It's amazing. Did I ever think it was going to happen? I'm not really sure that I did. Okay. Fits over the top there. Section. Possibly I've just been gluing stuff with the glue gun and I've got used to it drying reasonably quickly. Very hard to get over keeping special bits. It really is very difficult. It looks class like that. Well, I mean, I reckon they've got it all ready to go. To be honest, like I reckon they've got redone Phoenix Lords. I really wasn't expecting Morgan Ra and Dark Reapers, and I think they're just going to very slowly sort of emerge over the next several years whenever they get a bit of a lull. So I hopefully hopefully it'd be nice if there's some by the end of the year, but I'm not like I'm not keeping any what's the word? I'm not keeping my hopes up. I mean, I've hardly got any of the new stuff anyway, so it's a bit of a moot point. I need to update my Guardians. I love the new what's the faces, and I love the new Warlocks. I know a lot of people didn't like the helmets on the new Dark Reapers, but I feel like with just a few kit bashes, they're going to look really spectacular. They do need a bit of kit bashing though, because they're quite flat designs. But yeah, as soon as like new Striking Scorpions come out, that's going to be amazing. They have been consistently incredible models, apart from those very, very, very weird second edition ones. Second or third edition? I don't know if you've ever seen them. They are awful. They've got these weird buck teeth. I have no idea who designed them or came up with the idea that they should have sort of these rabbit faces. I think they're meant to be fangs, but they really look like rabbit faces. Okay, let's get my Delac kits out and do a little bit of clipping. Just want kind of a few like techno bits to make these guys a little bit less swamp people and more cultists from a world of weird technology. these will be up front in the first sort of river hole section. Oh, plastic shadow spectres. Yeah, that'd be amazing. Right, I'll just give you back 2 seconds. Somebody at the top. If you had... Alright mate, how you doing? Started your Smashbash whale. Very, very exciting. That's super exciting. I'm just making some of the characters that are going to go generally around my model. They're basically like little still walker people. So I've got these 3 guys. And then I've got these gross cultists that are going to be hiding around underneath. I might buy some shells to put over the back of them, actually, because they're kind of already sort of quite shell-shaped. Yeah, like those. I'm kind of adding up backpacks. How is the whale going? That's the question. I hope you are absolutely smashing it. I'm sure you are, because your models are class. Fit on that way. Just got to do a bit of scraping off. You did it with clay. Very nice. Is that Das modelling clay by any chance? Oh, which is the only modelling clay that I've ever used. So that's why I'm asking if it is that. And some plastic from the night robot thingy. All very nice. But I think I'm going to go back. It's cold in here, so the glue's not drying, and it's driving me crazy. And it's a little bit fiddly trying to do those at the same time. So what I'm going to do is just reassemble, set up a little bit. Oh, it's Das Clay. Yeah, Das Clay is super good. Let's go back over to this. For anyone who doesn't know, Das modelling clay is cheap. Super, super, super cheap. Well, not super cheap. It's kind of, I think about £10 for a, or maybe it's, no, maybe it's less than that. Maybe it's like £6 for a kilo. But it goes a long way. It dries, it air dries, and it works really well in silicone molds. So if you're seeing kind of like eagles or stuff, I use like a silicone cake mold. I fill it full of Das modelling clay, and then I put that on my model. It's a lot cheaper than doing it with green stuff. And because it's a bit softer and it has like quite a crumbly texture, it makes really nice rock. So I've used it on most of my models. I don't have any for this, but I think that's okay. I think I'm a little bit leery of adding too much weight on it because I've already got a lot of weight with the water and the pipes. So I just want to make sure that I don't add too much. Best filler for bases as well. Yeah, really good for that. I used to use Milliput a lot, but I found that it's very heavy and I find it quite difficult to manipulate it. Come on, glove. Is there any other modelling clay that anyone uses? I've got this thing forever. Just using one single glove Yeah, milliput can are very good, very expensive. I quite like that it's sticky, because while I'm building, I can use it to keep things in place while it's setting. But then, for getting a smooth surface or making it look sort of very fine, it's obviously not quite so. It's not good basically. Okay, I have my cutters. And big roll of wire. Let's see if I can get through that with this. Interesting. So I think one of the hard things is going to be not linking up the two sections because this still has to move. So I haven't put a huge amount on the back yet, so there is quite a big gap. But this I want to connect. Let's just see if I can cut it first, because it's going to be a pain in the ass if I can't cut it with these. Oh, I don't know, I think this might be too... There you go. Let's see what links it. See what links is in already. Nice, it's pretty long. So I might attach this one by one. Where's my glue gun? Glue gun is. Super Sculpey. I haven't used that. And oven baking clay, is it the classic? Is it Fimo? Certainly started off using Fimo when I was a kid, but I found it didn't really work that well for me because I don't have any patience for sculpting. The bit I find difficult is not being able to immediately make it look like I want it to look, and I have to wait for it to dry or set or change. Okay, so it's going to go into that like such. So each piece of this is pretty long. It's also a bit of a pig to cut. So what I'm going to see if I can just use it as is. Let's see how this goes. This might be a bit of a disaster. My knife in. See if my glue gun is hot enough yet. Not quite yet. Sculpey is nice. Needing to bake means you need to do some planning. Yeah, it's just yeah. I just like. I like being able to do things immediately, and maybe that's too much planning and prep for me. Although sometimes actually having a bit more patience would probably be a sensible thing to do. Okay, come on. Is that hot yet? Yeah. Wait for that to dry. Oop. And we can start wrapping it around. We'll cut a bit of it. I've seen a few people do it and making miniatures in Blender. And are you a sculptor as well, or do you do it online? definitely some talented people out there. I think sometimes people are a little bit reticent about talking about it because, especially because if they sell it, and then it's like, if it's like GWIP, even if it is a different sculpt, they're not recasting or anything; they're just designing something that's similar. I think people can be a little bit reticent about it. And it's proper wire cutters. Get the strands out. There we go. Each individual piece. Try not to cut myself on it because I'm sure it is going to be very sharp. Done alright on this model. I've hardly. I sort of cut my thumb open when I was servicing all of the screws in there. I was taking them all out and cleaning everything out and reattaching them, and just like the top of the screw head was like a razor. Oh, you really want to try doing it? Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I'd love to see what you can come up with. I think if you've got kind of visual design skills, and might save you some time rather than green stuffing it. Oh, that's a pain in the ass. Right, I'm going to come back to that. Let's see. Here it is. This is probably too long to work easily. But let's see how I get this. Down here first. It's going to be nice and connected to everything though. Still trying to keep that sort of quite nice curve. So it's looped the back of where she is. And then just going to loop it around. VR scoping softener. So probably quite lost me there, to be honest. I'm gonna need loads of spray paint to cover this. Although saying that, I think I would. So I've got on my the amount that I think I'm going to use is probably only probably 2 cans. I think that'd be a fine. No worries, mate. This is a safe place for not being able to speak, not like being able to completely capture what you want to say in the first time round. It's probably a little bit long for it to practically do this. I'm quite enjoying it. relaxing. Also, I think this might make quite a nice sort of Where's Waldo kind of effect where you're trying to work out where all the cabling's connected and what's actually connected to what. As I build different layers on top of it, there'll be more points where it sticks out. Definitely will need to cut some others though, because it's, yeah, I'm not sure I could. I want to make sure, I want to have some like thick sections where there's like multiple cables going over the same section. Maybe not. End up just cutting things in it. Don't like that. Fine up until here. Like a little tiny hole here, so let's see if I can fit it inside that. Okay. Perfect. Okay, now just to glue down all these sections. Will there be more Francesco Goya inspiration in this year's entry? Don't know really. Like, did he ever do a version of the Madonna? I'm not sure that he did. I think I do want to try and have as many like pieces of like weird biological flesh. I'm gonna try and make this look like this sort of stream of eggs that's hanging down, something like, and then all around her, so that, and then maybe some kind of a couple clutched in her hands, and then lots of like mucusy stuff as well, and this like cascade. So we'll see how that goes. Oh, you've got your chaos tie. Absolutely fantastic. What a genius idea. Very, very, very good luck with your interview, mate. I really hope it goes well. And yeah, I hope you double your salary, because that would be absolutely mint. You can buy a shitload more toys. Okay. Let's fill that up a little bit. Cool. Okay. So how is it looking? Let's push it back a little by your 1.2k Etsy basket. That sounds amazing. I'd love to. I'd love to see what that is. Okay, so I think yeah, it's gone. It's gone pretty well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to carve out these a little bit more. I want them to be slightly deeper, but not much, and but then just take off the edges as well, so that there's not any sections that look like they've got too much right angles. And the same on that side as well. And then I have to plug up these gaps. I'm also going to shave it so that it goes in to the edge of this, whatever this is called, the rim, so that so that when I paint it, I'm going to paint it looking a little bit like a cliff face, so it looks like it's been sheared off at that part. I'm going to attach some more cables to her back, so they're like indistinguishable from the spider arms that she's got at the moment, and then have shorter ones kind of wrap their way around. I wanted to have this sort of wave feeling almost of this. There's so much kind of coming out the back of her. I'm going to put some more tech in here, attach this pipe, and then I've got this little viewing screen to the only written. I'll have to get a torch for it, but the only written section on the map that says Terra. So, just to give you an idea of where it's sitting. This back I have to keep quite clear so that it will actually be able to tip back far enough as well. But yeah, I think in general it's going pretty well. Am I going to get this finished in time? Well, I think early next week I will try and I think I'll aim for probably Wednesday to get it completely built by, and then I'll just get on painting it so that I can do things like add the resin. Right, guys, I'm starting to lose my voice, so I might stop there. Thank you so much for anyone who's joined in, and yeah, if you want to drop any of your socials in the chat so I can find you again, that would be really cool. But otherwise, yeah, I think I'm going to go and have some lunch and chill out for a bit. I hope you've enjoyed that, and yeah, we'll do it again. The last bits and pieces of it done. Okay, guys, thank you so much.